Welcome back. Now we're going to be talking to Dr. Magda Nassif, Executive Director of the Fulbright Commission, about the role of the Fulbright Commission in Egypt, better known as BFCE. But first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Maggie, for coming. Dr. Maggie, we have a lot to talk about. But first, we're going to take a look at your profile, then we'll be right back.
Okay,
Stay with us. Welcome back. Dr. Maggie, since 1949, the Fulbright Commission in Egypt has awarded nearly 6,000 grants to Egyptian and American Fulbrighters, and now it is in the 6th decade of operation, and the Commission pursues an unchanged mandate, which is to cultivate mutual understanding by nourishing mutual educational exchange. Now, tell us briefly about the history of the Fulbright Commission in Egypt and its strategy now with all the developments taking place in the country.
First, thank you very much for having me, and it gives me great pleasure to talk about the history of the Fulbright Commission. Like you said, we've been in business for 65 years. I'm only new to the Commission. I started in October, and it was such an honor to join it. But like you said, we've sent over the years about 5,000 Egyptian students, and we've received about 1,000 American students and scholars. So over the years, we have sent university, junior and mid-career staff members from academia to pursue masters, PhDs, postdoc in all kinds of specialities, and we also sent mid-career professionals for the Humphrey program. We have a program for technical institute graduates where they go for a year to do an internship as well as study at a community college.
So it has to do with the report that we have just seen. I mean, women entrepreneurs here in Egypt, they stand a chance to take such a scholarship?
Of course, we have, you know, we pay special attention to women and underrepresented groups. So we actually look for women applicants as well as women from provinces other than Cairo and Alexandria. So we have, we've been working on recruiting women in particular from governorates other than Cairo. We've been to Aswan, we've been to Ina, we're going to Minya, and so we're looking for women in underserved areas.
Okay. Do you think that the Egyptian students who went to the United States well represented the Egyptian culture, which is very unique and very rich?
That's a very good question. And like you said, it's very rich. It's not the same. Unfortunately, of course,
very diverse.
Yes, very diverse. And unfortunately, there are more people from Cairo who end up going than other parts of the country. And that's what we're working on. We're working on showing the culture of the Delta, the culture of Said, the culture of the Sinai. So we have been recruiting from different areas, and we all tell our story. And the story of Egypt, like you said, is very diverse, it's very beautiful, and it represents who we are.
Okay. There is a strong movement now in the Egyptian society, Dr. Maggie, to empower women on the political and economic fronts in particular. How would the Fulbright Commission in Egypt serve this purpose?
That's a very good question. Through our alumni, so what we do mainly is send Egyptians to the United States to study and train. And we bring American experts to come and teach and train here. So for one of the examples, for instance, of empowering women, we have a graduate, Ustaza Mona Taha, who works with the Alexandria Business Association. And I was just there last week attending their 25-year anniversary, and they work with women through microfinancing and small projects. And Mona, as one of the leadership in the organization, received a Fulbright grant, one of the Fulbright programs, Hubert Humphrey, and went as a mid-career professional to the United States for a year. There she went to school as well as had internships at different programs and got to look and learn from the experiences and come back and bring it. So through our alumni, we can help in many projects and many areas to empower women.
Okay, and whom do you cooperate with here in Egypt?
We get funding from the Ministry of Higher Education, from the State Department, that's one of our funders, as well as all the universities and organizations where our alumni are. So academia and the profession.
Okay. Did you get the feedback of American students and professors who came here to Egypt before they went there?
Of course, there are all kinds of reports that they have to submit, which are part of their program, as well as post-program evaluation, and we stay in touch with them. You know, our alumni are gold, you know, they are our assets, so we stay in touch with them, and they often come back. They are part of our events. Sometimes we have special events where we bring them back as speakers, or when we travel to the U.S., we see them, and they also always want to come back. So and they are eligible after so many years to come back and do some more work, because usually when they come to Egypt, this is part of their research agenda and their work agenda, and so it's part of their career development to keep coming back to Egypt.
Okay. How can people hear about the Fulbright? How can they know about it? I mean, for ordinary women, especially if you're looking for, as you mentioned, people from outside Cairo and Alexandria, people from Sinai, as you mentioned, or Upper Egypt. How would they know about it?
Well, we have a Facebook page, we have a website, and then we travel, we do outreach, and some of these pictures, yes. Some of these pictures that you've seen actually were with my team, where we went on these trips to the Said, to the south of Egypt, to Alexandria. We have a few events planned, and so we try to go through our alumni network and visit and talk to the students there and the organizations in the community if we can, because we have you know, a few women in the leadership of my organization, my colleagues, and so we're very interested in women issues and to change the narrative of women in Egypt, in the Middle East, and in the world, because unfortunately, you know, women all over the world do not get their fair share. Naomi Wolf said in her book, The Beauty Myth, that women represent 50% of the world population.
True.
They work 75% of the work hours, because they work inside the home and outside.
Yes.
They make 10% of the world income, and they own 1% of the world property. And so there is a huge injustice when it comes to women, and we at the Fulbright Commission would really like to help little girls and women change that narrative. And I think that there are very admirable efforts in Egypt and the region to change that, and we would like to be part.
Okay, I think this is a golden chance now, because over the past 4 years, the mentality of Egyptians, particularly Egyptian women, has been developing. I wouldn't say change, has been, of course, developing.
Right.
And perhaps this is a very good opportunity for Egyptian women and girls to enhance their capabilities. How do you see this?
And I totally agree. And actually, when you look at the stats for women in Egypt, we're doing pretty well. I mean, we're doing, you know, I think in higher education it's more than 50%. It's about 55%. And so women are there getting educated, and I think it's when, of course, not everybody gets the same chance depending on where you live and what kind of education you can afford to seek. But also, I think what we need to do is go beyond the education process into the real world. I think this is where it becomes a problem for women, especially as moms and as you know,
hands-on problems.
Yes, because life, you know, happens, and women, you know, are nurturing and they like to take care of their families, and so what we can do to prepare, you know, to help them out. Yes, exactly. The environment that allows
them. There
them.
are so many ambitious women out there, but they are so pulled down or restricted by whatever, the society, the traditions, the family obligations, whatever it is. So perhaps giving those women some support through preparing the proper environment for them would help them reaching their goals.
Exactly, exactly. And actually, if you look at history, women have always been part of the labor force, whether they worked in the field or they worked from home with cottage industries.
Exactly.
And now there are women who work from home. If she needs to leave her home, then we need to help her out with childcare or whatever the arrangements are to take care of her family.
Okay. Do you tailor the programs of the Fulbright according to the needs of the market or the needs of the society?
Well, that's a very good question. We are bound by a set of rules, and it's a meritocracy. People have to compete, and we can't really bend the rules for people. But what we do is sometimes we concentrate on certain specialities or fields that are needed. So right now there's a lot of emphasis on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And we really are recruiting, especially girls who are in the sciences. But this is how we tailor it. The technical programs address the needs of technical school graduates. The Hubert Humphrey program addressed the needs of mid-career professionals. We have an Islamic studies program specifically for graduates of Al-Azhar. And so we address the needs of within the fields. That's how we tailor programs.
Okay, Dr. Maggie, over the years, the Fulbright program in Egypt has become one of the largest programs in the Middle East, serving and linking a wide range of scholarly and professional communities. But with all the developments that are taking place in the region, in the Middle East region, how would the Fulbright achieve its goals or purposes with all the turmoil taking place in Arab countries?
That's a very valid question right now, but it is the time where it's needed the most, because we are about education and cultural exchange. And when we bring people over, or we send Egyptian students and scholars to the United States, they become ambassadors of their country, and they showcase our brightest students and scholars, and they show people that at the end of the day we're all human beings and we all have so many things in common. We tend to emphasize differences, and that's I think at this point in history, it is really nice when we emphasize commonalities and similarities, and the fact that we have common goals for all common good. And the world is connected more than ever now with all the global technology and you know, the cyberspace where people connect, and so we need to show people that we are serious about change, and that we are hardworking people who are willing to make a difference. And I think that the students we send are the best when it comes to this. And the same for our American scholars who come and help out and connect with Egyptian colleagues and friends and make lifelong professional as well as personal connections.
Well, Dr. Maggie Nassif, Executive Director of the Fulbright Commission here in Egypt, thank you very much for coming today and shedding more light on the purposes and objectives of the Fulbright. Best of luck. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Hala, for having me.
Thank you. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us in this edition of Women's World. We'll be meeting you again next week, same time. Till then, goodbye.